Locho sampo pa gyu tra shi pa tuche tempe trinle yarngoda pelge drolor zampe ze parche palden lame shabl solvade Omo a Guru Vajra Dara Suma Timo Nisha Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om a Guru Vajra Dara Suma Timo Nisha Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Suma Timo Nisha Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Suma Timo Nisha Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Suma Timo Nisha Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Suma Timo Nisha Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Suma Timo Nisha Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhar Sane Karm Utta Vardanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Dhagi Jitsun Lama Tuje Che Nyamda Dala Tuje Siksu So Gebe Shesan Dala Tendo So Uyon Sunge Nawa Tsedo So Deje Nine Sowa Debe Tse Dejen Korlo Viso Lekshone Yela Sambe Dede Malepa Gemel Hunge Dubra Jingelo Tonye Soda Dikden Shapetse Dinge Namge Yinsu Lekshon Lapchen Sonye Yonso Zobada Chera Nyedun Chawra Jingel Chancho Parge Nitsen Tukun Tu Nyu Peme Sivdro Lekshon Chancho Drube Gegen Kunshishi Tungen De La Dubra Jingel Dagi Lona Chola Chopada Chemi Samjur Ngimba Shiwat Chedan Timbe Dede Malepa Bemel Hunge Dubra Jingel Dorna Tengne Tsera Tamchedan Techi Pardo Nekav Tamchet Rese Kemne Lama Keleme Tukche Chingi Dala Siksos Gongkyab Drewe Nyamda Dajala Jetun Lame Tukche Rabgongne Buddha Sunge Nawa Drame Tu Nyamsu Nyongwe Kesan Tobrasho Yewa Kundu Yanda Lama Dan Rame Cheki Pela Longchechi Sadan Lamge Yunde Rabzon Dorche Changi Koba Nyurto Visho Hakyuke Kodandagi Lo Hakyuke Sundandagi Hakyuke Todandagi Tüyerme çıktı cingiyalo Hakyuke kudan Dagilum Hakyuke sundan dagilan Hakyuke tudan Hagi Tüyerme chik tu chingilo ma kyu ke kudang dagilum ma kyu ke sundan daginga ma kyu ke tudang dagi ten yerme chik tu jingilong Om Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha. Cominciamo con la prima parte della Guru Puja. We just start reciting the first part of the Guru Puja. Dece ngale rani lama la kande selve kule vesre tso chochu trube nuju chin la pe taba ramjan bashi yundengi kwe keba pinson sobra ke rabgara ke sen chimbe ngani le tadan kanya magen simche nam tene chese chanchu nimpe par lama kuncho sumla kyapsu dro namo guru bye namo buddhaya namo dharmaya namo sangaya Namo Guru Bhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Guru Bhye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangaya. Ma simche kunge tinge chira danye lama lhara gyurne simche tamche lama lai koban chola kobracha. Ma simche kunge tinge chira danye lama lhara gyurne simche tamche lama lai koban chola kobracha. Ma simche kunge tenge chira danye lama lara gyurne simchen tamche lama kweban chola kubracha. Ma simchen tam chege tundu dagi tsedi nila nyurwa deme sangye lama lai kobang unduche. Ma simchen tamche dunga ledre dechen sangye ki sala kubracha. Te chirtu lamsamo lama lai nejo nyimsu lamara gyewo. Omo ahum, omo ahum, omo ahum. Ngowo yeshe la namba nanche dan cheze sasa namba chile wambo drugi choyo do de donge yeshe kebra chenge besa. Pana nange kendam che yonsu kebe china san. Chirin tamze chenze samge mi kape kawa ara kyurum. Dedon yermel halan yamba gwinsan chetin tripe wo loma meto tripo yonzen to gyo basam chimpet donga barwe rinchen triten chugye nida gebet sawe lama sangye kunge ngowo nye namba ngurme zimbe gelon sheche chanye zumgarar chaye cheche yomba nyamsha dutse kangwe lhungse na kurkon damden chugyo sumso serdo penshe ulat Tugar kyabda dorche chanwa sheche chanye kudo ngo dorche songne yinchu markyo lhinge deden robegi nama rinche genge teshin lhase dagi natse lo tsempe genden veser tomba chatsunange korweo dorche kiltron sulgi shukpe pungbo namda deshen kamshi yumshi keche tsakyu tsinan chancho sembong pabu drachom nite chikton yanla trowo wambo nye veser chogyo nejin sawa chikden panam shabgede Tagorim shingo gyo lama yidam kingo lazo dan sangye chansen pavo kanro ten sungya tso korne Tedar gonso dorje sumze hungi vesir chak Ranshi nene yeshe pana chenra yerme ten par gyuro pinso dele chungne tu sumgi tsagyo lama yidam kunchos pavo kanro chugyo sum Dirshe tembra shu chana ranshi dro kunre ya natso duje samba chishin tu chiryan charwe kenze trinleche Yabgun damba korche shikso so Omo guru buddha bodhisattva dharma pala sapari vare ya hita humbam Yeshe pana thamsi pada nisome par gyur kange tuche dewa chimbo yi kusungo ban chokyan kechil Tsoze lama rinchen tabu kyu dorje chensha pemo chatse lo rabchan gyalwa kunge yeshen Kandu chiryan charve tabge chu Murmi zimbe karge nero wa kyabgun dambe shabla chatse lo Nyekun pacha cheba chujun shi pame yunde rinchen tabge te Pende malu chungwe goji pu jitsun lami shabla chatse lo Harche tumba sangye kunge ngo giri shiton tamchu chungwe Pazo kunge una lange wa trinche lama namla chatse lo Tusum chojuru shube lama dan rinchen chosum chawa tamche Tichi mebe tenyang gyasoch Shindo nyambe ludru chatse lo Kyab kunje zon lama korche lo Naso chotin gyaso bilwani Kule rinche eba naya le Dache duzi chushi de gipa Dombo sima tenwa pele pa Zebe medo sadam parnanka Tishin peki diba bendorye yarke ngombo triki lalantri Nida norbu rabkar tongme so tongsu minse vese tsegako Gabo tsenden kurkon trigo pe pechun sochen koryo kuneki Roge chuden sacha tongwa da lhada mi shase lompopo Natso romo chetan tanye le chungwe danye gyue sasong Sudra tiro rikche pelten Kinan denya lham chukun kya Sa shi pe ki chu shi me to Tra ri rab ling shi Ni de gem pa di Sangye shin tu mi te ulvargi Rokun namanda shin Parasho chewa tragilin shelumbro che rinchen dinda nyue rinchen Unga gebe neche pinsun tso lami loncho dogu terchem Dawe simge pulchun shinge cho kyabgun tuje chen la ulwargi Ye dam guru rana mandra la kam niryata yami Ngashan yitro yishin gyatso ngo sishe namkra lewo chunsenge Dado gebe kunge yitro shin Jikden jikden lede ran shenge Gosong gewe medo chiantra Kunsan chebe triso bumdrosh Lapso rimni Gatsen jetsun lama nye chebu kurkonda Tinge chen roge pelsinge che tunga da Chekyo nga dan roma nga las Chantun barwe dutse gyatso cho Yuwon latso palsin trujosh Debe gyutse lage lutrama Shinge nga gel hinge ponyet Tedu gyume chagyan nangya bula Trimdel hinge dewe yeshech Chokuran shin tondan drewe yin Yerme lundru masam jolet Tenda jancho simcho kyolabu nyomo shigya tsashi nel churpe Sambo mingi cheta natso dan kyune ki chirdadren bula Namkara jesim baso sondo so Tome dune mige dikpele gidan gitse iran chichi Tuje chinren chengar gyosimgi shakshi linche migi dum Milam jishin keba thamche gi dega chirya charwe namkra la daja samba thabe yirango pulchun kinse chunzin bumdre de taye drodi pende kunde Keda yundu nedan pewe chira sabge choki charba avtos Darche kula kechi minga ya sunchu wange gyabo samat Dacha meba chishin site bara nyange mida takpra shususo. Teda trumbe namkara gyewe tso karin sumden che tson lama. Tera kunto drame che senche. Suncho dorche chanwa top chi rango. Mime tsewe terche chenre se drime kimbe wambo chambe lian. Tibu malo jumse samwe da kanche kebe tuken tsunga pa lo sandra be shabla sowat. Mime tsewe terche chenre se drime kimbe wambo chambe lian. Tibu malo jumse samwe da kanche kebe tuken tsunga lo sandra be shabla sowat de. Mime tsewe terche chenre se drime kimbe wambo chambe Tibu malo jumse samwe da kanche kebe tuken tsunga pa lo sandra be shabla sowat de. Mime tsewe terche chenre se drime kimbe Malo John the Samantha Kanji gave us a couple of the thought they made the vegetarian You may have said the vegetarian John Samantha Kanji thought they made the vegetarian Kanji gave us a couple of the Wade mime tsewe de je jen re se trime kimbe wambo jambe lian de ma lo jumze zangwe da kanche kebe tu kien tunga ba lo sandra be shabla so wa de yun de chungne tsutin kya so che mando narbo tsoke yon so ta ngorme zimba duwa ni be je ne den duwa zen la so wa de kandan de na devra shepe lama tempra be yun den chudem Malo gyalwe dizan chegi che tik chogewe shela sowa de kosum le dan lo jan so den yedan gyume nga dan gyo sheshin teni chuson ridan chege pe dorche zimbe sola sowa sangye rame jembe madulwe marondo ge nikto rwala de shelam san chin temba ye kyab konto je chen la sowa kebe nima tuge nubgyurte kongya me be rowa mambola gyawe zeba nyewara druze kyab konto je chen la sowa tamchele Kangi babu buka jitaya daja sonam shindu lenga pe kyabkon tu je chen la sowat. Kingi koloni tabke gyuru drawe joge le tami tsuki drawa tense pe kyabkon tu je chen la sowat. Yala nan de sheri nga yabyon simpa dan trewe wamboran shin chosungi dani lama chola sowat de kungi ye sherwe bale jongwe kilgor korlo jewe dani Rige gyabda dorje timbe tsu sunjo dambu kun la sowa de time linke gawe rupa dan yerme tenyo kungya kungit Tama tate kun san tundamge chancho simgo kyo la solwa de Kini lama kyo ni dam kyo ni kanro che kyon ten Tene son te chancho pardo Kyomin kya shemi tsolwe Didam pardo chi me tarya Toche cha gyu sung tsola Si shi chik trul ngo drupa kun tsol Tengi trol tsu pa cho sung Kyo ni lama kyo ni yidam Kyo ni kandra che kyon Tene son te chancho parad Kyomin kya shemi tsolwe didam part Yue cha gyu son tsola Si shi chik trul ngo dru kun tso tengi tro zo pa cho Kyoni lama, kyoni yidam, kyoni kandro che kyonte, tene sonte chancho pardo, kyomin kya shemi tsolwe, didam pardo chi me taryan, toche cha gyu sung tsola. si shi chi trol ngo drupa kun sol tengi tro zo pa cho sung Darlen son so wa ta pe tu la me ko son to de se ve se karma tin ka son rim dan chik char chung ne da ni gi ne son rim dan chik char tim pa le drip shi tak chi nam da wan shi to ko shi top chin lama ni ba shi ge shin tim pe chin ge la par kyo Omo a guru vajradhara sumati muni shasane karma uda vardhani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasane Karma Uta Vardhanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasane Karma Uta Vardhanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasane Karma Uta Vardhanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasane Karma Uta Vardhanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Muni Shasane Karma Uta Vardhanya Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Jnana Shasana Shri Bhadra Sarva Siddhi Hum Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Kirti 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 Siddhi Om Guru Vajradhara Sumati Kirti Siddhi Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakya Muni Swaha 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 Om A Vajradhara Hum Hum 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 Om Ahum 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 Verse 84, verso 84. Shincho tampo jitsun lama la, chijin kube sawa tabe tu, dele tsawa gombo kenyigi, geshi jitsun simbra jingil, lenche tsamshi nyebe de jodi, nyega nyurdo jibe tsudone, tame tsedi chame mi wara tende nyimbo limbra jingil, Nge sondunge barwe me jine, nyingne kuncho sumla kemdro shin, dikbon ke tso tada drupala, tsumbalu len chibra jingil, le dan yomon balon tratu tru dunga sumge chuse mambo tse tame jiron siso chimbo le tardo shudra kyora jingil daga tsonra trawe korwa di gawe tsiltar tongwe lobane la sombawe norgi tsos nyamda drowa digun dagi ma yayan ringe kyambe tsusane dube pola tsewe ma shinto chumi ninche kyora jingil dunga tramo tsamya mi de chin de la namya choshe me barani dadan shen la kebra yomi she shende gawa kebra jingil Echone di mi de dunga gebe gyurdone lelen de la kondo sonche te adazin denchen chombra jingelo manan che son de la gobe lo ataye yonten chungwe gordone drova dida da girdar lankyan sole chebra zimbra jingel Don kona dan tuban shindon bashin seba ye kyundan yonten yawa tobe lo adashen nimje nubra jingelo rani Kunge go manan chezin yonden kunge shi de chirda shen chewe ne jo la nyamle nyimbo chebra jingil. Chezon lama tu che che ma gyo drowe dirib dunga kun malyo tata dala mimba dan dagi dege shen la tangwa ye drogun dedan dembra jingil. Tena chezon lama tu che che ma gyo drowe dirib dunga kun malyo tata dala mimba dan dagi dege shen la tangwa. Rogun dedan tempra jingelo tena chetson lama tu che ma gyu trove dirib dunga malyo tata dala mimba dan dagi dege shen la tangwa ye rogun dedan tempra jingel ne chu dibe trebu yongkante midyo dunga chartar bab gyurkya lenge trebu sebe gyurdone kenge lamtu longra jingel Torna sange nawa chisharyan chugu nimbo tumge nyam lengi chancho semni pewe lam gyurte yide bashi gombra jingel Chorwa shidan dembe tabke ge trela kanto gomla chorwa dan locho damse labche nyam. Inge lo tonle lo la kyumbe trumdek che chamda ninje lape samba ye drona sitso chele drove chire chancho semni chongra chinge. Tisong gyawa kunge troche lam namda gyase domba gyudam shin tekcho tsutrin sumge nyamle la tsomba lulen chebra chinge. Ludang loncho tu sumge zoche simche raran debe ngogyurte chame don sempewe mengagi chimbe barchen zobra jingi Todara janse sangwa domba ye chezan soge chiri amide gecho dudan simche tindrupe tsudrun barchen zobra jingi Kamso kegu malu trugyurte sheshin sandro dikshin soljo kya miru norlen pemba drujepe sebe barchen zobra jingi Simche rere chiriya narme pe menan keba kyatso nego kya ninche migyo chancho chotson pe tsundro barchen sobra chinge Chingwe nambra yongwe kyombane chogu denpe tompe ne lo la teche nyambra chope tinsinge samden barchen sobra chinge Tenye sosor tope shiragi trampe shinchan dechen danreo Tenda nyamsha namke ne jogi shira barchen sobra chinge Chinan chonan gyuma milandan dampe tsonan daso chishin Nayan tempra mebe tsuto ne gyume tinsin sopra chinge Duza meba dan gyure tenre luwa meban Penso game troso charwa ye lodro gonton topra chinge Tene dorje tsimbe tepengi trinle gyute gyatso chige te Ngodro sawa damse domba na sole chebra tsimbra chinge Gyalwe kusonto gyurwe rimba thambo ne chogi Tame nanshin trimma kunchante kanal hakur charwa chinge Inge dabke dudi udatu gongyo shasen goba le chungwa Vesekyo lo sondo chobe lan tsedi ngondo gyurwa chingel Lamna masin chiwe duche na tsinda tsangya lame powany Tonga yandan charwe damga ki tabe shindu trubra chingel Dona ki shinkewa tamche tu gombo kyogi treme cheson Kusonto ki sawa kunzenpe seki tuwar gyurwa chingel Gongyo kanto ngombra sangepe korgi toma nidu thagyurte Nekaw tardu gondo malub Beme lungi drupe trashi to. Sangye chedan soge chonam la chancho bardo dani kyapso chi dagi chishe gibe sonamgi Trola penchira sangye drupara sho sangye chedan soge chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapso chi dagi chishe gibe sonamgi Trola penchira sangye drupara sho sangye chedan soge chonam la chancho pardo dani kyapso chi dagi chishe gibe sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparesho. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, we take refuge and enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. All of us, it doesn't matter who we are, where we come from, what is our culture, what is our religion, our age, our social level. We have something in common very strong, which is the fact that we all want to be happy, and none of us want to suffer. Something we have said here in this context already many, many times. The fact is that everything that we do, it doesn't matter who we do basically because we don't want to suffer. We want to feel satisfaction. We want to be in peace. In a few words, we want to be happy. So, if we observe our world, we really do a lot trying to be happy in many ways. We create many conditions. We're always doing things around us. But if we really stop to observe a little bit more clear, we will see that the external conditions that we so much try to make better and so on are not actually what is going to determine our happiness or our suffering. If we look from the point of view of the conflicts that we live in, starting with our own selves, because one person is enough to have conflicts, we don't need two. So if we look our own conflicts, if we look at the conflicts that we have with our father, mother, children, friends, couple, whatever. If we look at the conflicts that arise in our job, in the community, within our friends, the conflicts that arise in society, up to the conflicts that we can have between countries and religions and all this type of things. There is not one conflict that is not starting in the human mind. If we look well, we'll see that all of this actually starts within our own human mind. It's because of insatisfaction, it's because of jealousy, it's because of envy, of hatred, and so on. And the most crazy of all is that all these conflicts happen because deep inside we want to be happy. But we don't know really how to do it, so we do our best. We are guided by our own ignorance. But we try to be happy doing what we can do. And most of the times what we are doing is we are trying to create external conditions in order to be happy. So what we do? We try to have a place that is comfortable, We live nowadays, we have one very specific, let's call a rule, which is, I don't know how to say it in English, legge del minimo sforzo. Let's say we call the law of least effort, which means the less effort I can do, the better. So we try to have everything the most comfortable way, more luxurious way, with less effort, and so on. Then we try to put away everyone that we don't like, people that we do not feel comfortable with, and that don't have an attitude that we like so much, and so on. We try to make distance from people that we don't like. We try to bring people that we like near to us. We try to create always conditions around us which are favorable, which are pleasurable. Okay. Nothing wrong somehow about that. The problem is that it's not going to solve our problem. As much as we try to create perfect conditions around us, physically, environmentally, both with the people around us, relations and materially and so on, as much as we try to create these good conditions, our conflicts are going to come back again and again and again. So it looks like everything is perfect, then after some time, something get out of place. And then again, we need to do something about it. So the point that I want to bring is that really what makes a difference is our mind. If we do not train ourselves within a mind of satisfaction, of joy, of balance, and so on, it's going to be just conflict constantly. It doesn't matter where we go, with whom we are, at what situation we are. We can make everything beautiful, as we already have actually. And still, there will be problems and conflicts and so on and so on. So, really, if we stop just to look, I cannot find up to now one conflict that was not starting in our own inner conflicts. Okay? So, based on that, one of the main goals that we have is to train our mind, is to bring our mind to a state of peace, to bring our mind to a state of satisfaction, of joy, balance. And in order to do that, Buddha Shakyamuni have taught more than 2,500 years ago. And since then, many practitioners have taken it on and kept it purely and adapted it to the mentality of people and time. Methods, very valid methods and tools in order to train our mind. Because our mind has this beautiful quality of adapting. It's like the body similarly. You know, it's somehow, in modern terms, we can call it the plasticity of the brain. It's the fact that when we repeat something again and again and again and again, slowly it becomes more and more natural. Slowly it becomes more and more easy. So, it's like if I want to run for a marathon, I need to train myself. I cannot just go, especially in the physical state I am right now. Okay? I am not fit to run a marathon. But if I train, not one day, not 2 days, but maybe a few years, then I think I can run a marathon. If I train constantly and I put the right effort and so on, I train in the right way, then it's possible. But it's not going to come by training from one day to the other. There's nothing that I can do like this and then I can run the marathon. I need to train. Similar to that, our mind, the more we use our mind in one direction, the more our mind gets used to that direction of being. So we need to repeat that same state of consciousness again and again, so that that state of consciousness will arise easily and spontaneously. So this is one of the goals of our own meditations. This is one of the uses of our own meditation practices. So the Guru Puja, which we are seeing these days, now we are in the 5th weekend explaining the Guru Puja, it is actually a tool of meditation. Okay? It's a tool through which we need to self-induce ourselves to a certain state of consciousness in an, let's say, artificial way. It's not spontaneous. We induce ourselves into a state of consciousness. And by doing that again and again, slowly we get acquainted with that state of consciousness so that it can come more and more easily up to the day where we realize it and it comes spontaneously. So, the Guru Puja that we are seeing is a very, very precious and very valid method to do that. It's not just a ceremony for us to recite, as sometimes it's seen. Or else the Guru Puja is just the idea of Guru Puja means to recite the text. That's why normally I like to say, okay, now we will recite the Guru Puja. It's different than meditate on it. No. We just do the recitation, which is okay. It's a first step. But we need to remember that the Guru Puja is actually a meditation. Meditation in the sense that it will induce our mind to certain states of consciousness, so that after these stages of consciousness can come out naturally and spontaneously. And it's a very, very valid method. It has been used for centuries, and it has been working for centuries for many people. So, and all these people, the past, they had very similar difficulties as the one we have right now. So I see no reason why it shouldn't work for us as it worked for them. Okay. So, as we have gone through the Guru Puja during this 4 weekends already, we are in the 5th one. We have seen already a lot. I'm not going to go back now through the whole thing. It will be crazy to start up from the beginning again. But we have seen, like, first taking refuge. We do the preliminaries. So there's the part of taking refuge, generating the mind of love and compassion of bodhicitta towards all sentient beings. Then there is the part of purifying the environment, purifying the offerings, then inviting the holy beings. Then after that, there's the part we do the 7 limb prayers, which is prostrations, offerings. We openly admit our mistakes. We rejoice about the virtuous actions. We request Guru Buddha to give us the teachings. We request Guru Buddha to remain with us. We dedicate our merits. And then after that, we do the part of making requests, which is also a very important part. And as we make requests, we connect to the whole part of the Guru Puja. Actually, we are connecting ourselves stronger and deeper with the holy beings, with the sacred. Both externally and also internally, we also create a stronger and deeper connection with our own sacred part, with our own potential of enlightenment. In Buddhism, it's very important to have faith in Buddha, in Dharma, and Sangha, but it's as important also to have faith in our own potential of enlightenment, to have faith in our own self also. It's very, very important, that part also. So we have reached now from the Guru Puja the part of verse 84, but which is actually the part of the Lamrim, which is the meditation request and meditation on the gradual path to enlightenment. But there is one other part that we do normally, that is the Tsog Offering. The Tsog Offering is an addendum. Addendum, you say? Appendix is like an extra part, which normally we do only, we can do at any moment. Here in the center we do every day, but most commonly it's done like in the 10th and the 25th and the 25th of the calendar, of the lunar calendar, so they call Tsog days. So, which is 10 days after the new moon and 10 days after the full moon actually. And then, which is the Tsog days. Anyhow, I was thinking today to explain the part of the Tsog Offering, okay? Even though this is not part of the original text of the Guru Puja. The original text of the Guru Puja, it says you can do Tsog Offering, but it's not described the actual Tsog Offering. So we will, but as we do this practice, I would like to explain the practice of the Guru Puja of the Tsog today, at least this morning, then we see how long it will take. And then after we will go on to the rest of the text in verse 84. Okay. When we do now, after the part of requesting the blessings, we have in the original text of the Guru Puja, it goes directly to verse number 84, which is the meditation on the gradual path to enlightenment. But before that, I would like to explain the part of the Tsog Offering, or the Gana Chakra, Tsog Korlo. And it is a part which it's said in the original text that it can be done here, but at the same time, it is not written in the original text mainly. It's something that we can do, sure. And then normally it's always done at the 10 days after new moon and 10 days after full moon. And which is 2 auspicious days. Normally the 10 days after new moon and 10 days after full moon are days where the energy flows better. So it's good to do positive things. But we do normally here in the center, for example, we do Tsog Offering every day. It can be done at any moment, but normally, very more traditionally, commonly is done 2 times a month, or minimum 1 time a month. And then here we do it every day. Okay. So let's just try to understand a little bit the meaning of the Tsog. For me, it's important for us to understand the meaning behind things, because the actual text is quite simple, the visualization is quite simple, what to recite is quite simple, but I really feel it's important for us to get the taste of what it means, what's the reason why we do it. So, the word Tsog, Tsog Korlo, or Gana Chakra, Tsog means assembly, means accumulation. it means to gather. Korlo means the will, like a circle. So it's a circle of gathering, okay, a circle of accumulation, which has many meanings. One of them is the meaning that is the gathering between common beings and holy beings. It's the gathering between disciple and guru. It's the gathering between all the deities of the mandala. It has many meanings of this. Originally, in India, when the Tsog offering was done, it was done in a very beautiful way, but for whatever reason, this tradition was never kept in Tibet. So it never came to us also because we have our tradition coming from Tibet. But originally in India, it's said that they would make in open space, in open outside, no? They would draw in the floor a big lotus flower with the number of petals according to the deity of the mandala, deities of the mandala. So for example, Guru Puja is based on Guhya Samaja, so they will make a lotus flower with 32 petals. So this is the lotus flower with 32 petals. And then in the center will sit the Guru. And then around each petal would sit one practitioner according to the number of deities of the mandala. So both male practitioners for the male deities, female practitioners representing the female deities, and they will sit in the right positions in the lotus flower according to the mandala, and then we'll do the practice together and offerings to the holy beings and so on. And it was, let's making it simple, a sort of a party. It's a moment of sharing together. Okay, and nowadays there is no anymore this way of gathering together like all the deities of one same mandala, but this is also the meaning. We are gathering together because we have something in common, which is very important, which is our own path to enlightenment. But one of the main benefits, which is said, of the Tsog offering, it's related to what is called our samaya, or our commitment, tamtsik in Tibetan. And it's said that the Tsog offering, it has one of the main functions of clearing and purifying our samayas, making our samayas clean and pure. So I'll just try to explain a little bit what that means. The word samaya, in Tibetan tamtsik, Sanskrit samaya, in English it normally is translated as commitment. Okay, it's translated as commitment, but it's used in a context which is different than the context that normally we understand as commitment. Okay, so for example, when two persons have a good relation, have a good understanding between each other, it's said that these two people have good commitments, have pure commitments. Tamtsit sangma sankyare. Tamtsik means commitment, sangma means pure. So we have the completely pure commitment, which means there is a good understanding. The energy flows well. There is no any conflict between us. Everything is good. This means to have a good commitment, have a pure commitment. When two people start having some conflict between themselves, they say, oh, the commitments are not pure. When the commitments are not pure, it means that between the two persons there is some sort of conflict, there is some sort of difficulty. Okay? So, if we look from this, the word commitment has actually quite a different meaning that, okay, oh, I maintain my commitments. I told you I would do that, I did it. That's not exactly the meaning of commitment. It's actually a little bit deeper. It's actually something not so conceptual. And so let's try to understand it making some more mundane examples, like more simple daily life examples. So if we are with a friend, there is a moment that between two persons, like in a friendship, when the friendship is really going well, when the commitment is pure, it means there is a good understanding between the two. I think energy flows well, understanding flows well. This doesn't mean that the two persons need to understand everything in the same way. This doesn't mean that they need to have the same choices and the same tastes. Not at all. But still, there is a flow of understanding. There is a good communication. Then what happens normally is that at some point, something happens, whatever. And then we get some sort of little conflict. There is some little, whatever, like a small knot that is created. And then things simply don't flow as before. Okay? This means the commitment is not pure anymore. Okay? And then, when the commitment is not pure, slowly, if this is not healed, what will happen is that the relation will get more and more far. Okay? And it's not a matter of having the same understanding, it's not a matter of liking the same things, it's not a matter of conceptual understanding and practical things. It's a matter of inner way of relating to each other. It's like the sensation that we have. Okay? And when we have a good commitment, when actually we have a good understanding in a deeper level, then the rest can go in many ways, but things can flow, we are able to do things together. In the moment that this understanding is not pure anymore, then slowly things start to get difficult. We start to get stuck into things. Things don't flow anymore so well. And one of the most difficult things that I see in life, for I think almost everyone around me, is human relationship. We start a relationship, I don't mean necessarily couple relationship, friendship, work, friend, any type of relationship where two people need to share something together. No? And in the moment that there is no such good understanding between the two, then things don't flow well so anymore. So this understanding, this feeling of openness between each other, this trust that exists between two people, this is what we say to have a pure commitment, pure samaya, which is very, very important in a mundane way, and it is still more important in our spiritual practice. We must have a pure samaya with the one that is guiding us spiritually. I must trust that person. I must have a good feeling. I must feel there is a good flow. I cannot a good understanding deeply. But what happens is that inevitably, because of our anger, jealousy, miserliness, ignorance, finally, we create conflicts. It is normal. You know, in any relationship, normally this example that I'm going to give is given mostly for the relationship with the guru, but I believe it's the same for friendship, for family, for couple relation. The relationship with the other person is like fire in this relationship, which means when you get too far away from fire, you get cold, which means you lose the connection. When you are too near, you burn yourself. So when between two people, we are too far away, so not thinking anymore about the person, not talking anymore to the person, not seeing each other, having different things to do in life, slowly, the connection fades away. When two persons are too near to each other, what happens? One starts projecting on each other their own problems and their own conflicts and so on. And sooner or later, there will be going to be conflict between the two. So they get burned out. So it's important for us to know how to keep the right distance in any relationship. Not to project what is not able to be sustained by it. But it's very important that as we move along any relationship, we must cultivate it. And we must clear away any dirt that comes in between us. Any dirt in the commitments. It must be cleared away. How to do that? When two people have conflict, sometimes what we try to do is that we try to talk. But if the heart is not open, if we are not open to each other, it's just going to be an intellectual game, and even if we understand each other, it will not work. It will just
create more difficulty, and sometimes it can even make the things worse. So it's important, first of all, to sit together and to open the heart to each other, to open the mind to each other. And normally this is done by what? By having a moment of pleasure, of joy, of happiness together. Enjoying something together, doing something positive, something good together. In the moment that we have something that is positive, something that is good, something that is pleasurable together, naturally the barriers, the protections that we make between each other, the defenses that we have, they fade away. And then, once there is understanding, once we open the heart to each other, then it's easy just to go there and make the knot loosen. Clean away the dirt. Otherwise, if we keep stiff, and then if we don't open each heart to each other, things will not flow. Then it's not easy to clean away. Maybe technically we can say, okay, I understood you, it's fine, but truly it's not. Okay? So, it becomes very important to have this moment where we share something together. It is like, I remember about two examples. One, when the great 10th Pancha Lama, he was explaining to Rinpoche that whenever he needed to talk to someone, for example, he was very skilled in the politics, actually, as a diplomat. He was a great diplomat. He did a great work in Tibet, like, for example, allowing the monasteries to be opened and the Tibetan language. He did many, many great things. And he was saying one time to Rinpoche, if you need to talk to someone about a specific subject, first you need to invite this person for dinner. And then you have dinner, you talk about many other things that has nothing to do with the specific subject you need to talk about. When there is no more defenses between you two, then you talk about the subject, and then it will just flow naturally and easily, and you have a true answer. If you try to go directly to the subject, but you have not gone beyond the defenses that there is between each other, then things will not flow naturally. And then you will never get what you need. It's similar like in Mongolia, in the time of the Genghis Khan and the Kublai Khan, I don't know which Khan they were. The fact there were two sorts of sects, like two groups in Mongolia, and they would fight so much, and they had such, how to say in English, aversion, but like enmity, like seeing each other as enemies, that they could not even talk. It said that when they would start talking to each other, they would just insult each other, and they would end up beating each other, like they were not able to talk at all. So at one point there was one man, which was actually a Lama, and he was very much respected by both sides. So he was trying to find how can I make these two people to talk. So what he did, that both of them, they liked to have, nata, snuff, tobacco snuff. So both parties liked it. This was one of the points they had in common. So, which was also connected to pleasure. And they had this in common. So this Kagajitun Tampa, I think was his name, he just said to them, okay, we meet together, no exchanging of words. You just take your snuff bottle and you give to each other. So they would just go there, exchange the snuff bottle. They will try a little bit of the other one. They'll say, oh, nice. It's also a sign of trust because I'm not putting any poison in it. I am sharing it with you. So there was a sign of trust also. And then we find something in common. And from this, then they started to talk about the snuff. And from the snuff, they got to other things, up to their real big problems. And finally, all their conflicts were pacified and they became friends. They became united. All started with the snuff. Up to today in Mongolia, when two people meet, they exchange their snuff bottle. And even if you don't take snuff, you need to receive it. You just take it in your hand, you do like this, and then after you give it back. It's a sign of friendship since that time. So, what happens is that before we are able to clean away any conflict, we must find a point of understanding energetically. not conceptually. And this can be in many ways. And normally the way of doing this is having something in common that is pleasurable for both. Something that we like, something that we enjoy, something that we relax within it. And then once we have this moment where, okay, nice way, then naturally the conflicts and the dirt between it's going to be cleared away. If we just focus on that point, then it's not possible to clear away. Okay? So, because we are still in samsara, because we are full of our own selfishness and ignorance and all our things, naturally and inevitably, I'm sorry to say, we will create conflicts in any relationship we have. Sooner or later, we can start with a very pure relationship, with pure commitment. Sooner or later, we will project something, we will feel abandoned, we will feel this and we will feel that, and then we will put some dirt there. This is normal. That's why we need constantly to clean it. It's like in a normal daily relationship. We need to cultivate the relationship. We need to do nice things together. We need to exchange nice things together. That's how we cultivate it. Similar to that, in the relationship between us and our gurus, us and the holy beings and so on, we need to cultivate this relation from our side. So how we do that? By exchanging something together, by having this moment of, let's say, pleasure, of joy together. And this is called the Tsog. One of the main reasons of the Tsog offering is to clean the samaya between us and Guru Buddha. So, from our side, we have our knots, our little dirt in our commitments. This was a moment for us to clear this away. So it's very, very important practice, actually. Especially when we say that in the Vajrayana path, in order for us to have realizations, we must keep our samayas pure. Okay? This is actually really, really essential and important. So, what we need to do, we need to cultivate it, we need to clean it, we need to have this moment. So, during the Tsog, one of the main objectives of Tsog offering, of the Gana Chakra, of this circle of gathering, is to gather ourselves with our Guru, together with the Sangha, together with all the Buddhas, with the holy beings, and have this moment of offering and sharing and enjoyment. And by that we have this moment of cleaning away any dirt that there may be in the commitment between us. Okay, is it quite clear? Okay, so this is one of the reasons of the Tsog, and we can see by that is actually something quite important. Okay, so when we do the Tsog offering, it's a gathering that we do with the holy beings, with our Guru, with the Dharma, with the Sangha, where we share together. And when we do the Tsog offering, there are some practical aspects that we need to respect, mostly, which is normally the fact that we offer... Okay, before that, sorry. When we do the Tsog offering, in order for the Tsog offering to be complete, there must be present both man and woman during the Tsog offering. When there is only man or only woman, it's not called a Tsog, it's not a Gana Chakra, it's another name. It's we call Pawo Todrup or Pama Todrup in Tibetan. Pawo Todrup means a feast of heroes. Pama Todrup, a feast of heroines, which means a feast of only man, a feast of only woman, basically. Okay? So in order for a Tsog offering to be complete, there must be the present both of man and woman. During the gathering. Okay. This doesn't mean that if we are not like this, but this would mean that in most of the monasteries, most of the times, it's not a complete Tsog offering. Okay? This is something that is normally when a feast of heroes, as it's called, a Pawo Todrup. Okay? So, but one thing that I was just remembering, which is quite nice, it is said in many teachings that if we need to do Tsog offering, and for whatever reason, that day we are not able to actually do the actual tsog or something that has the same value, that can represent making the tsog offering, is offering to children, food and sweets to children. So if we go to a school, I don't know, nowadays I think there are so many rules, things are so more complicated. I don't know if we can just go to a school and offer sweets to kids, you know. I think this would not work anymore nowadays, but still, if we offer sweets to children, this is one, it has the same impact as making the actual Tsog offering. I believe it is because it generates a very genuine and pure state of joy. And this has a special, and then we offer this joy of the children. So we offer to the holy beings also when we offer this to children. So it should generate this energy of joy, this energy of happiness. When we do the normal ceremony of the Tsog, as we do daily here, we have three main substances, let's say, two which are the bala and mata, which is the we call tsogsha and tsogchang, which is the tsog meat and the tsog alcohol. And many people ask why these two substances. So I'll try to give you some explanations about it. Okay, there may be other levels, other explanations, but let's try to give some of them. One way is that the two substances, the alcohol and the meat, they represent both male and female energy. Okay, which is that the alcohol represents the female energy and the meat represents the male energy. And one of the reasons for that, it is said that the alcohol, even though, sure, it's a substance that, as it's said in the teachings, is the door of every non-virtuous action. No? Because by drinking alcohol, people lose the control of their own mind and the clarity of the mind. And by that, they would do things that normally they maybe like to do, but they would not do because they have some control. So this is the example that was given of the story of a monk. And the monk was forced to choose between killing an animal, having a sexual relationship with a woman, or drinking alcohol. And he said, okay, for me the list related to my vows and so on is better just to drink alcohol. So he started drinking the alcohol, which looked like the smallest of the negative, of the non-virtuous actions according to his vows. What happened is that, based on that, he lost completely the control of his mind because he got drunk. And then once he was drunk, then he had no more control, so he let go away his desires, sexual desires, so he had the relation with the woman. And then after that, he was very hungry, so he went and he killed the animal to eat it. So basically, it is said that the alcohol is the door of all known virtues. So it's something that, in this way, should be avoided, because also our human nature, we never know right the limits. So it's always, a little bit here, a little bit more, and after some time we just get used to things, and then it takes away the clarity of the mind, it takes away the control of the mind, and so on. So it's something to avoid. It's something quite dangerous. On the other side, the alcohol itself, it has the energy of heat. It will generate more heat in the body. It will generate, and this is connected to the female energy, it's connected to the female part, which is generating the heat in the body. If we look on the other way, for a woman, it will also increase the sexual desire in a way. So it is something that it's connected directly to the female energy in this way. And also, both for men and women, it stimulates more the female energy. Okay, physical. This is something very physical that is happening also. So this is why also the alcohol in this way is representing the female energy. Then we have the meat. The meat is representing the male energy. This is said also, going directly to the very practical point of the example, it is because the essence of the male energy as a substance is represented by the sperm. And the sperm, according to, like, for example, Tibetan medicine, and I think it's the same for Ayurvedic medicine and so on, is said to be the essence of all the energy of the body of a man. Like, normally, whenever we eat any food, what our body does normally is that it will divide what is of how to say in English, nutritious, and what is not. So it's going to divide. So it's going to keep the nutritious part, transforming it into blood and flesh and fat and whatever we need for the body. And the part which is not nutritious will send away in the form of urine and excrement, right? So from the nutritious part that the body receives, one part becomes blood, the other part becomes flesh, the part becomes fat, and like this it goes on. And the essence of this in the man, it becomes the sperm. So it's said to be the essence of all the physical nutrition that represents the strength of the body. So, based on that, what gives the strength of the body in this way, the meat is something that gives a lot of strength in this sense. So it's representing also the male energy in this way. Both man and woman, we have both male and female energies in our body. So it's representing also both the male and female energy. So male and female energy, it also represents body and mind, it represents method and wisdom. So it's one of the important things in our path is to create balance and harmony between the male and female energy also. So this is one of the meanings of the meat and the alcohol, which is there as something to representation. It's not that we make the Tsog offering and we buy a big steak and a nice bottle of wine, and then that's not the way how it should be, okay? So it's just a representation that we have. Then, other than that also, it is something important in the Mahayana, in the Vajrayana path, is that we should not go against the body, but we should use the body as a tool for enlightenment, something very precious. So it goes against all practices of asceticism, in which you give up the body. You should use the body, we should use the body in favor of our own practice. So the alcohol and the meat, in this case of the Tsog, it's representing taking care of the body, because of two substances that increase the basis of our body, which is male and female energy. So it's necessary for the body to generate energy. So this doesn't mean, this is not an excuse now for people to go around drinking a lot of alcohol and things like, so the Lama said it's good for the energy of the body, we need it. This has nothing to do with that. We need also to know the right limits of things and so on. So the point is that it's representing here these two energies, male and female. It's representing our body, so the importance of taking care of the body. But then there is another point which is maybe a little bit more difficult to put into words. I would just, it's not something that I have read specifically, but I'd like to share, give one point of reflection. The Tsog is the moment of gathering between the profane or the mundane and the holy. It's the moment where I have the gathering between ourselves and the holy beings. And there is this moment of sharing, of union that we create. And if we look, for example, in the Christian tradition, of which I don't have at all the knowledge to speak about, I really don't have, I'm not the right person to speak about it, simply because I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the experience. But from the little I know and the little I have seen, one of the most important parts of the Christian practice is the, how do you call in English, the communion? It's the communion. In the communion, what is done? You drink the wine and eat the, you call in English, the ostia, which is representing the blood and the flesh, right? So as you do this, it's actually creating a union between you and Jesus in a way, okay? So in Buddhism, if we look, what's the essence of the Tsog? We also have representing the male and female energy, which is the blood and the meat also somehow. So in this way, it has actually similar meaning in a way, which is actually the meaning of creating the union, creating this communion between us and Guru Buddha and the holy beings. It has a deep meaning. Anyhow, I think as we go through the text, maybe this becomes more clear. Okay? So normally we have these two main substances which we cannot forget when we do Tsog offering. In some contexts, for example, there are some monasteries where inside the monastery alcohol is not allowed at all. So then how do they do Tsog offering? They have some other stuff. They can do with milk, they do with some other substance representing the alcohol. Okay, like juice and things like this. And then the meat can be done the same thing. If there is a context where it's not good or it should not be used meat, it's possible to use something else to represent it also. Another meaning, which is my own personal understanding, so it could be right or it could be wrong, about this also is that one very, very important aspect in the Vajrayana is the correct view of reality, which it is not to be attached to our own projections and to our own understanding of things in the way like they appear to us inherently. We need to go beyond our projections, we need to go beyond our preconcepts. So, in other words, the correct view of reality, where we understand that everything is interdependent, that external reality exists, but that it does not exist independently of the internal reality. It is something very important, especially, in generally speaking, in the Dharma practice, especially in the Vajrayana path also. So, as we do the practice, what we do is that the meat and the alcohol, we transform it. So when we mean we transform it, it doesn't mean only something external is happening. My own way projection is changed. My own projection is changed. My own way of seeing it is changed. So I transform it from something impure into something pure. So one thing important in the Vajrayana, and Tsog, it's fully part of the Vajrayana, is to go beyond our preconcepts. This is something very important also. So this also has a special meaning when we have the meat and the alcohol. It's like going beyond our preconcepts of good or bad. Preconception is to go beyond our preconceptions of good or bad or right and wrong. Sure, there is good and bad. Sure, there is right and wrong. Things are interdependent, but not inherently. So it's like going beyond that. When we go to the fact of eating meat, it's a long discussion, but just very briefly, death is it's in the middle of life. Okay. We should not deliberately kill. Mainly, we should not have the intention to harm. But inevitably, death is part of life in many, 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 many ways. For example, even you eat a bowl of rice. The number of insects that are killed to produce a bowl of rice is so big. You are dressed with a piece of cloth of cotton. The number of insects that are killed in order to make 1 square meter of cotton is so many. Everything that we do, every movement that we have in life in relation to, like, the idea that vegetables do not kill is completely fake. If anyone just go to work on the fields for a week, you will see how many insects are necessarily killed when we are actually to produce a nice, beautiful salad. You need to kill so much. To produce beautiful tomatoes or whatever, you need to kill so much. That's why also, for example, one of the traditions that goes very hard on this way of not harming physically is the Jainist. And then they go to very extremes of it. Because everywhere you go, everything you move, somehow this is related, especially when we talk about producing food in this way. So, the matter of the food itself, personally, I think the main problem of, actually not only meat, of the whole food aspect nowadays is the industrialization of food. So the way how the animals are treated is the worst of all. It's not a matter of only the fact that they are killed, it's the whole way how they are raised up and the whole thing that goes together. That's, for me, the worst part. But when we go through the fact that, personally, if you ask, is it better to eat or not to eat meat, I personally don't eat, and I think it's better not to eat. But no problem with anybody that eats. I'm not having no, preconceptions about someone that is eating. I don't think the person is necessarily bad. But what happened is that no prejudices with anyone that is actually eating meat. But the point is that if we really look clearly, if the point of not eating meat is the fact of not involving death in our own nutrition, then better we starve. Huh? If the point of not eating meat is basically the fact of not involving death in our own nutrition, then we need to starve. Because basically, anything that you produce to eat, most of the things at least, there is death involved in it. So it's quite complex in this sense. So the point is that we should not deliberately harm others, which means we should not go there and, okay, I want this, so I will kill you because I get this, and so on. We should do as careful as we can, all of this. There are some places, for example, where they even create a tradition, okay, they don't eat meat if it was killed on purpose. When the animal dies for an accident or something like this, then they can eat. Then, but it's somehow okay, but in another way, it's not okay. Like, then what happened, they put all the animals in a place where there's a big cliff. So naturally, the animals will fall down more. So then they eat the animals that fall down. So then they didn't go there especially to kill them. So it's quite complex to think. This also is not working in the same way because the motivation is even before there where you put the animals not protecting them. So it's the same thing. But the fact is that for me, death is part of life. It's like anywhere we go, especially when if we look in the whole animal realm, we are part of it also. And even, I want to say, being a vegetarian myself, I'm quite aware that within the whole process of producing food, there is a lot of death involved. And it can be very violent also. Because insects are also sentient beings, no? They also suffer. Then when we look how many of them are killed, it's not something so easy. So I think the important thing is whenever we eat, whenever we dress, whenever we put our shoes on, everything is related with this, with the interdependence where we live, and then there is always harm related somehow, somewhere. We put so we say, okay, I'm not going to wear any shoes made out of leather because I don't want to have the death involved, so I take a nice plastic shoes, and the plastic is going to be harming the environment, that is going to harm the life of other beings, and so on. So, and then I go and I take a shoes, which is someone involved in the other part of the world, working day and night like almost a slave, in order to make that clothes cheap, and so on, and so much involved. Harm is involved in their human interdependence. We should do our best to do less harm as possible, and really to do benefit for others in all our relationship. But if we try to be out of any interdependence where harm is involved, basically we don't do anything. Because everywhere, there is harm involved in this way. Of the environment, of the people, of the animals, of the insects, and so on. So we need to do our best to create a positive interdependence. So also in our own dedication. So for example, if we eat meat, or if we eat even a plate of salad, or a plate of rice, we should dedicate for the animals and everyone that actually dedicated their own lives. Some of them gave up their lives for that plate of food to exist. Others put a lot of effort for that to happen. So we dedicate, may through this plate of food, I have the right nourishment that I need. And by that, may I put my energy to practice the Dharma and benefit others. And may through the merits that I gain, may all of these sentient beings and these people involved in this plate of food, may I dedicate my merits to all of them. So this is a way how we transform all of this. It's like, okay, I put shoes on. Let's say I have a shoes of leather. I dedicate every step I do for the practice of Dharma and for the benefit of others. And I do positive actions through that. And I dedicate my merits for those that actually gave up their lives for these shoes. And those that worked for it, and so on and so on. So I think it's very important, the attitude that we have within it. It's very interesting because when you take any subject like this, things are never so much black and white. It's much more complex, and it's important for us to see the whole picture. So then when we do the Tsog offering, we have the substance, which is, so we have the meat and the alcohol, and then we have, normally there is the tradition of calling it also by the Sanskrit name Bala and Mata, which means for not having an ordinary perception of it. And then also because while we do the Tsog offering, we're not supposed to talk. While we do the Tsog offering, from when we start the Tsog offering up to when we do the Tsogla, but up to the end of the Tsog offering, there is the commitment of no talking. Why? Because it's a moment of communion, it's a moment of gathering, and to fight at this moment would be very, very bad. To have any conflict, any fight, it's said that if we fight during Tsog offering, it's much worse than any other moment. So, in order not to fight, what was the commitment that was made? No talking. Because basically from talking, confusions and conflicts may arise. So basically during Tsog time, no talking. That's why there are codes that are made like, okay, it's a time to bring the Tsog to offer, Bala Mata, use the Sanskrit words instead of using the common way. But the most important thing of this is like, it's not a moment for just talking and chatting. It's a moment of deep connection and sharing. It's not a moment for talking. So that's why there is also the commitment of no talking during the Tsog offering. But if we need some small practical things to say, I don't think that's a big deal. If the matter is like, it's not a moment where we would just like start chatting and talking around. Okay? And then we have the other substance, which is the actual food that we share together. It can be any type of food. We could even, make a nice pasta or a nice rice and dal or whatever, and then we offer it, and then after that, so we can eat the whole food. It's not necessarily that during the Tsog offering, it doesn't need to be necessarily like biscuits and fruits and things like that. It can be any type of food that we offer at that moment also. Okay? All right. So I will just say this question was made. I will do the translation in Italian, and then we will stop here for lunch. And then when we come back, we will go through the actual text. Okay? So just to conclude this, I'm sorry to say things in this direct way. And maybe it's more nice for us to have a beautiful view of the world, and I'll do like this and everything will be fine. You're not involved in any negative interdependence and everything will be perfect. But I'm sorry, I'm not able to say things differently from what way I see them. And one thing that I really love of Buddhism, that it's not important to have a beautiful view about things. Things don't need to feel nice. They need to be coherent. That's the fact. Maybe there are realities that are not nice to see. But it's important to be coherent, to understand them, to see them, to relate in a coherent way. And it's okay. Even though I don't even though I would like to be different, but at least I understand it, I accept it, and then I try to deal with it in the best way as I can. Okay? So, when we do the Tsog offering, it's these very precious moments because we are not only gathering with the holy beings, but with all sentient beings also. So it's also clearing, making pure the relation between us and all sentient beings at the same time. So all the beings that have been harmed for our own purpose somehow, directly and indirectly, all the beings to whom we relate, every sentient being, we gather together, we clean the relationship between us, and we dedicate for all of them. So it's not only us and the holy beings, it's all the sentient beings together also. So we stop now for lunch, and then after lunch we will just take the text and go through it verse by verse. Okay? Jetson lame kutse rabtenchi namkar tinle chochur gepada losan tempe dreme sasumgi drove munsel tatu negyurchi Nimo dele tsendele nime kuyan delekshin Nintsen takto delekpe Koncho sumke jingi lob Koncho sumge ngodrubtso Koncho sumge trashishu. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, May the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspicious. Oma hun tembala me sangye Rinpoche, kyobala me thamcho Rinpoche, Rembala me gindu Rinpoche, kyamne kuncho sumla chopa, locho sampo pagyo drashi pa, tuche tempe tinle yarmot, pegye drolo zambe zebra che, panden la me shela chopa. Kanshi dremba tsamge chinange parche kunse leshi tinle nam, soze gyache shugne ringa tse tenson kordan che la chopa bu. Kenam chochin sowa tabe to daso kantu nebe sajo der nedan ubo tamso shiwada chodan trashi pelwar zedu